Hey friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen, and guess what we're doing today? Welcome to Tomato Land. I don't know why I had that in my head. My kids used to watch this short on Disney and it was Potato Land, and they would chant Potato Land, and I was thinking in my head, Tomato Land, because I feel like that's what's going on here. And there's more. So we need to get busy, and I'll show you why we need to get busy, because of course I can't find any, but I've got like dark spots, spots popping out on these tomatoes because they are ready. They need to be processed. And we're going to turn our tomatoes this year into primarily pasta sauce and barbecue sauce, because those are the two things I noticed when I checked my canning shelves that we were the most out of. We've still got a lot of pizza sauce from last year, which is so nice. We will probably make a little bit of extra pizza sauce to carry us throughout the whole year, but we have plenty of salsa. So we don't need any more salsa, and thankfully we have plenty of pickles still, because our cucumber harvest was really not as great as it has been in years past. So that's okay, we have plenty of pickles. I'm thankful for that. So we're gonna get started processing these tomatoes. Now it's probably gonna take us a couple of days to get this entire job done, and I'm really hoping I can knock it out in 2 days, because my husband has some days he needed to take off that he was gonna lose. You know how that goes when you come up to the end of your work year, and he's taking them this week. So we are going to maybe take some little day trips or something, and so I wanna have all my work done so that come midweek, I can just go and enjoy and not have to worry about produce or the garden or anything like that. So that's the plan, but boy, is my work cut out for me. I am, however, going to use a tool. Sorry, I bumped y'all a little bit. I am going to use a tool that has made things a little bit easier in the last couple of years, and that is this handy tomato strainer. So I found last year that you don't even have to like boil your tomatoes. You know how when you process them, you boil them. And then when those skins start to split open, you take them out, you transfer them to an ice bath, and then once they've cooled off, you have to dig the cores out, cut off all the bad spots, quarter them, all the things. You about scald your little fingers off. So last year I said, well, let me just see if I can alleviate that step. And my neighbor, who has a tomato strainer, he said that he thought that I could. So I tried it out, and sure enough, this machine took care of quartering it, doing all the things like taking the pulp out. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I did quarter the tomatoes. I will do that. Did I say quarter? We might have quartered the tomatoes too. I will core the tomatoes, like take the cores out of them, and then put them in the machine. So you do have to do that step, but still, to do it when your tomatoes are room temperature is a whole lot easier than when they are scalding hot. All right, I just feel like I'm kind of all over the place because I've got so much to get done, and you'll hear a lot of background noise. My refrigerator is it's so like noisy today. I don't know what it's doing over there. It's full. It probably is crying out for space. I've got to clean it out, and then the dishwasher's running. Pretty soon there'll be a canner running, and I might just have to go grab a microphone. I'm not sure. But anyway, I wish y'all were here with me so you could help me do this job. I was looking back on last year's video, and my mom was actually here to help me with this process. She might actually be here tomorrow to help me with like the canning process, so that'll be nice. But right now it's just me, myself, and I gotta stop stalling. I keep putting this project off because it's really not my favorite. This is a really messy project, and I could think of other things that I would rather be doing, but it's gotta be done. So let's just stop stalling and get to it. Let me just say, I feel extremely blessed to have an abundance and a beautiful tomato harvest this year. So I don't want to come off sounding like I'm complaining, because I'm not. I'm so thankful for that. But there's a little work that comes with gardening, and some of the things just aren't my favorite, but we have been abundantly blessed this year with tomatoes. So let me just stop you right there in case you were thinking I was complaining, because I am very thankful for the harvest that the Lord has seen fit to give us. Okay, now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to core the tomatoes, cut this center out, and then we'll just kind of cut them a little bit. You see they've got some of them have some bad spots on them, so we'll get all that off. and then we'll transfer them to our strainer. So let's speed this up because y'all don't want to see that. This will take a while. Okay guys, well, one of the harder parts is done now. And so what I've decided to do this year for our pizza sauce and for the pasta sauce, we happened to be at Rural King this weekend and they had the Mrs. Wages pasta sauce packets. So I got 2 of those, and then they also had a pizza sauce. I'd never seen the pizza sauce before. And because we don't need a lot of pizza sauce, we already have ours from last year, which was a homemade recipe. It wasn't a packet per se, but since we already had that, I thought I would try this out just to see what the difference is, see if we like this better. There was pros and cons. I liked last year's pizza sauce better than the year before that. It was a little bit thicker, so you know, let's just compare it to something else and see if we like it even better. As far as pasta sauce, I don't really have a family spaghetti sauce recipe. I have made a couple of recipes that were given to me in the past, and nothing was ever spectacular. To me, oh gosh, I hate to even say this, but I don't want to say pasta sauce is pasta sauce, because I think if you make your own spaghetti sauce, it is so much better. But a lot of times I'll just take like a regular jarred sauce and then I'll add like meat to it or add my own seasoning to it. So I'm always doing things like that. So I didn't feel bad about buying the packet of pasta sauce. We're just going to try it out, see how we like it. If we don't, we won't do it again. But that's the plan for this year as far as pasta sauce and pizza sauce. Now we will make our own homemade barbecue sauce because that was phenomenal. Phenomenal. We went through that so quickly. Absolutely, it was like the best barbecue sauce I've ever had. So stay tuned for that video, and that's where the rest of our tomatoes, when they come in, that's where I'm going to freeze them up, I guess, until I get enough for that recipe, and then we're going to make as much of it as we can. But for these recipes, you need 6 pounds of fresh tomatoes. So what I did, everything that we just cored and quartered up, I took my kitchen scale and I measured them out in 6 pound bowls. So we've got 6 pounds here, 6 pounds here, 6 pounds here. Now I had a little bit left over, and I'm gonna see how much this is, and then we'll write it on the bag. And this is 3.4 pounds. So I'm gonna write that on the bag, and I'm just gonna put this in the freezer just like it is. I think it will be fine, and then that will go toward our barbecue sauce. But this is getting ready to get strained, and we'll start the process of pasta and pizza sauce. All right, here goes. But before, I thought you guys might be asking me questions later about what variety tomatoes these are. And I don't typically divide mine up. We have grown Roma tomatoes, Delicious, Homestead, Beef Steak, and I think one of them was Super Steak. I think my dad gave me 4 Super Steak plants, but the rest were from seed, so I remembered that those were the other varieties. Now, I will tell you that like Roma tomatoes are really good for like spaghetti sauces and stuff, but because we had these tomatoes we need to use, I just decided to put them all together. So I don't know if that is like a no-no or not, but that's the way that I've done it for years. And you know, it works. So those are the varieties of tomato. And now we're going to get the strainer going here. I thought I would just give you an up close look at the setup. This piece on the inside is what actually, you just turn your handle here, I'm doing it backwards, and that will start to move the tomatoes through the strainer. And now your juice will come out on this end. So this will be, I think that's right, I think this is what we will actually use to make our sauces. And then this is where your pulp and everything you don't need comes out. Now, if I'm completely opposite in that, I'll correct myself. But I think that's right. I think this is the good stuff. This is the bad stuff. So we will see. And I did get this off of Amazon a few years ago, so I will try to remember to link this in the description box also for you. mistake I made. I left my white seat cushions over here. Oops. I guess I'll have some cleaning up to do. Ugh. All right, we've gone through our first 6 pounds of tomatoes, and I wanted to show you something that I decided to do in the end. My phone storage ran out, so I missed part of this process that I really wish I could have recorded for you, but I'm gonna talk you through it instead. So this is the juice or the puree that we got out of that 6 pounds of tomatoes. And what I like to do is once it's ran through one time and I collect all the pulp in this bowl, I will run it through again. And when I do, I typically fill this back up halfway. So that's how much juice you can get just by running it through twice. But what I decided to do, I had all this pulp, and maybe I'll show you later on what that looked like. But what I decided to do was to take out my food processor and see if I could blend up that pulp, because see, we already took the cores out. And we just had, a little bit of the skin, but a lot of that skin I had removed, and because we cut it up, the pieces of skin were not very thick at all. So I decided that I would run through the food processor to see if I could use that leftover pulp. And other than the seeds, I mean, there's gonna be some seeds in there, it looks like perfectly good tomato puree. So I'm debating on whether or not I wanna add it back into the liquid here just to thicken it a little bit. What I think I might do is put this in a separate container and see how the sauce does without the rest of the tomato. And if it looks like it needs to be a little bit thicker, then maybe I can add it back in later. I think that's what I'll do. I'm gonna get the rest of these processed while I have everything out. I hate to clean this thing, so if I can get it all done. It's 5 o'clock, which means I need to start on dinner in about 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that I can get this all done. What I will do is put everything in the fridge, and then tomorrow I think we'll do the second part, and that's when we'll actually make our sauces, I think. I'm gonna be tired if I do this and stay up tonight. It's a brand new day, and we've got all our tomatoes ready to make our pizza sauce. We're gonna start out first with pizza sauce, and then after we get it going, we will work on our pasta sauce. Now remember yesterday yesterday for me, but earlier in the video I told you we're gonna try the Mrs. Wages mix this year. If we don't like it, we'll go back to our other recipe, but I thought it would be something different, and I don't need that much pizza sauce this year, so it'll be just fine. This is gonna make about 5 pints, and what we're gonna need for this, of course, we've got our pot here. We're going to need 6 pounds of tomatoes that have been pureed, so we did that earlier. We're gonna add 5 tablespoons of sugar and then this pouch. So easy peasy, can't get much easier than that. And while this is cooking, this is gonna need to cook for about 25 minutes. We're gonna bring it to a boil, then it's gonna cook for 25 minutes. We'll just stir it occasionally. While that's going on, I'm going to get our jars cleaned and get our lids and rings ready to go. And then we'll have to heat that canner up. That takes a while, and it gets rather noisy around here. So some of this I might have to voice over later. My mom is actually here today, and she'll be helping me a little bit. She missed the hard part. I should have had her come yesterday when we were working on all those tomatoes. But anyway, we're gonna see how far we get today, and hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have everything accomplished. All right, we're gonna get our pasta sauce going now, and I'm gonna make 2 batches of it, which will give us 10 pints. And we're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar for each packet, so that's 1/2 cup of sugar. And then our 6 pounds of tomatoes again, which we already pureed yesterday. So I'm gonna get that going in this pot back here. Now it's stainless steel, it's not aluminum, so it should not be reactive. And hopefully we can have these two maybe done around the same time and go ahead and process everything together. Now I just followed the package directions on the back for both sauces. Both needed 25 minutes to simmer after they were both brought to boiling, and also they need 40 minutes to process in a water bath canner. Now I'm filling each one of these jars and leaving about a 1-inch headspace in each one. And so that's pretty much it. Very simple recipe. And like I said, everything is listed for you on the back of those Mrs. Wages packets. So our pasta sauce is done processing, all but one. Oh, I love to hear the little ping, ping, ping. They're gonna sit here for 5 minutes, and then I will take them out and put the rest of our jars in, and then we'll have everything done. All right, we ended up with 6 pints of pizza sauce, hence the P on there. That's how I was keeping them separated until they completely set. And then I will write out pizza sauce on this 6, and then the other 9 are the pasta sauce. And you'll see that we have very hard water. As the water dries, you'll see that it leaves a film. So I'll wipe those down really good, probably use some vinegar solution on those before I put them into storage. But this is where they will hang out probably for 2 to 3 days, just until, you know, everything seals, and which I think just about every one of them has sealed. I know the first 9 have. But that is a good sign that everything did what it was supposed to do. So like I said, I let them hang out until they, come to room temperature, and then we'll put them into storage. All right, guys. Well, 2 days worth of processing tomatoes. Yesterday we worked all day to get our tomatoes into the pureed form so that we could make our pizza and pasta sauces. And today we worked on the sauces. So it is now 3:47, and I'm happy to tell you that we have everything canned. We ended up with 9 jars of pasta sauce, 6 jars of pizza sauce, and that's a good start. Now, I did just go down to the garden. Hang on a second, I'll show you what I got. Now, this is crazy. I gotta use 2 hands. One of these tomatoes is a whopper, but this is what I just got out of the garden. So, yeah, that's not gonna happen today. Nothing's getting done to these for a while, but I gotta show you this one. Look at this one. Now it's split on the bottom because of rain and all, but anyway, last year I remember that I had to go up here to the local, farmer and buy some tomatoes to make our barbecue sauce, but this year I don't think that's gonna be the case. The Lord has blessed us abundantly with tomatoes, so that's really exciting. I did end up getting 2 more okra out of there as well. But I am not doing anything with these today. I may wash them. I'm gonna wash them, sit them over here on the counter, and then next week we'll figure out what we're gonna do. We might just freeze them for a while till we accumulate enough, like I said, and then we can turn them into barbecue sauce in another video much later. So right now I'm going to get all this cleaned up. I think I have earned myself a couple of days off. So we're gonna hit the road tomorrow, see where it takes us. So until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given, and I will see you all right back here in the next one.